Okay, so I've dug all these out of storage. A lot of them were up in my attic for a long time. I want to see which one of these still work. I'm pretty sure they should all still work, but it's kind of humid up there, so I wanted to see what of these still work. This one should work fine. I actually just got that one. Someone gave me that one with an Xbox 360 that's sitting over here. Um, Thank you for that, by the way. Um, so I'll put that one aside. But let's start looking at these first and kind of going over them and seeing what we got here. Let me move this keyboard and mouse and then I'll be back. Okay, so the first one on the table that we're going to bring down is going to be the original PlayStation. Man, I wish this tripod would just stay. Alright, so this one here I've had for a while. I don't remember exactly how long, couple years. All I remember about it is I know I put a mod chip in it, so it does play backup games. There's one already in there. The bottom, as you can see, is a little discolored compared to the top, and if I remember right, I changed the bottom shell out because I think this one at one point I had spray painted, and it was starting to look terrible from just wear. It was starting to peel and stuff, so I just took the bottom off another PlayStation I had and just slapped it on there. So that's why this part's more discolored than this part, because typically the top would discolor before the bottom. I mean, in most cases, but so we could hook this up using this here and this here, and we could test it out and make sure that it's still working. This one I didn't I thought I light modded this one, but this one's still got the green light. And it seems to be working just fine. The chips didn't come loose or anything from the humidity, which is good. It's got an MM3 mod chip in it, or multi-mod 3. So I did that just for the purpose of, really for the purpose of preservation. Like these like I got games on the table here that I got for free that don't have cases. I'm not so worried about them. But the games that I got cases, I just run backup copies and keep them put up in their case. That's the whole reason I have this set up like this. And occasionally I do dabble in like getting like some old demo discs or something from offline that you really can't obtain, like like the Crash Team Racing review demo or kiosk demo. And I'll try them out, and it's kind of fun to try them out on a real console, so there's extra benefits. But no, I don't do piracy with this. I just back up games that I already have. Although if you wanted to and you had one of these and you wanted to pirate games, I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's totally up to you. So this seems to be just fine. I kind of expected that. These things here are freaking tanks. These things last forever. I've never had one fail on me. Even the SCP-H00 or 1001 has never failed on me. And those ones are the ones that are more commonly notorious for the lasers failing because of I forget exactly why. There's something with the mechanism that drives it back and forth that causes it to wear out and it just stops going. I don't remember the particulars on it, but those ones are the most common ones for failure. Now, let's take a look at this one and see what we got here. This one's got everything intact in it. I don't know if this one works though. Somehow I doubt it, because I'm pretty sure all of these Slims came from an eBay lot. Yeah, there's a screw cover missing on this one too. I think they all came out of a lot. Well, not all out of the same lot, but they all came out of lots where I just buy a bunch of broken systems to repair. These ones I kind of put off. I'm more interested in repairing the old school consoles like Super Nintendos and Nintendo 64s and stuff like that. So, we can't use a backup disc in that system because none of these are chipped or modded in any way. But we can test something out on here that would be kind of cool. Let's see if Free McBoot works on it. Not that that matters. I don't have any games on a flash drive or nothing, so it's not going to be all that useful, but we could see if it works. So let's power it on. It looks like with this one, Free McBoot's not going to work. What model is this? I actually got to look. 70012. Wait a minute. Okay. Alright, well, let me look at something else here. 4D. Well, this one was made in the fourth quarter, I believe, of 2004. Or, yeah, fourth quarter of 2004, I believe, is what that means. So it should work with it in theory, but I don't know if the firmware has been updated. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it just wasn't clipped in there correctly. Okay, so McBoot works just fine on here. So that's a good thing. So, we'll try out a legitimate disc. Smackdown, shut your mouth. And we'll see if it reads it. Oh, well, this one reads discs. A lot of I know the other two that are up there on the table don't read discs then, because I knew the majority of them don't read discs. But yeah, okay, it works. Wow, this is throwback, and look at that pixelated ass image. Holy shit. This is why you don't play this on a HD TV. Because you see all the pixelation when it resizes it to fit your screen. Oh my god, it's so jagged. This is much better served on a CRT screen. I think the HD TV is doing this thing a huge disservice, because it would definitely look a lot better than this on a CRT. The video portions of this actually don't look too bad, but all the stuff that was designed using graphics, like 3D graphic engines or even 2D graphic engines, is just pixelated to hell and back. So the menus are probably going to look like crap. let's just skip this and go on to the main menu and see. No, I'm gonna have to turn that down because I know that they're gonna copyright strike me for the damn music in this thing. Hey, it's not my fault. I didn't put the music in there. Talk to the game publisher or, developer or whatever. The ones who put the music in there in the first place. I'm just demonstrating some old PlayStations and showing you that they either work or don't work. And I'm actually really shocked that this one works because I didn't think I had any that worked other than that one right here that I was just given that I know should work because it was hardly ever used. It sat around for years and years and years and was pretty much never used. Now, one thing we are going to have to test out now. We know that this works, so we're going to go ahead and shut this or reset it. Normally it would shut off, but because it's got McBoot in it, it acts a little different. And let's try a CD-based game. I don't know if it's going to read this because it's a little messed up. So I don't have my disk surfacer down here at the moment. I do plan on breaking that out fairly soon though, because I do want to cover that in a video at some point. It is a really cool thing and it wasn't super expensive, so if you're in the market for a disk resurfacer to salvage old DVDs or video games or whatever, it's definitely worth checking one of them out. I'm pretty sure they still make them. But yeah, let's see what this does. Well, and CD-based games work just fine on here. That's actually a good thing. Now that usually isn't as much of a problem with these slim ones as it would be with the fat models. The fat models, typically they'll still read DVDs, in my experience at least. They'll still read DVD-based games just fine, but in a lot of cases they'll stop reading CD-based games, which is probably a sign that the DVD-based games are going to stop working at some point too. But yeah, so this one works just fine. This one's actually probably eventually going to be put up for sale then, because I don't need all these PlayStations sitting around. I mean, shit, I got 8 of them right here on a table. Okay, so we'll take Tony Hawk back out and we'll set this one aside because it's passed the test, and then we'll move on to looking at the next few that I got on the table here. So disconnect this. I don't remember if this one came in an eBay lot or what happened with this one. I really don't know where this one came from. So we'll set this one aside. Now let's go back to the one that I just got. We'll go ahead and test this out just to make sure. But it should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's sat around for years and years and nobody really played it. And oh gee, what a surprise, it works. Well, the time battery has died in it. Probably from long sitting around. That's why the dots aren't spinning on the screen. because there's a backup battery inside of here that keeps track of the time, and when that dies, those dots will stop spinning. And I could reset the time and it might be fine for a little bit, but as soon as I unplug it, it's probably just gonna forget the time, and then those dots will stop spinning again. So we aren't too worried about that. That's not a major problem or anything. It just makes your PlayStation look like it's broken even though it's not. And what a surprise, it reads PS2 games just fine. DVD based games usually aren't the problem with these lasers anyway. But, yeah, okay, so that works just fine. We'll set that aside, then we'll try Tony Hawk again. And it looks like it read that pretty much right away, so there's no issues at all with this one, it looks like. I wouldn't imagine it becoming an issue at any point either, because like I said, it's rarely been used. It's not like it's suffered like heavy abuse or anything. I know who owned this before me pretty well, so when they tell me this thing has hardly ever been used and it's sat around, I could totally trust that and believe it. Okay. Well, just as I figured, there's not a problem at all with this one. Now, the other two that are on the table here, I know do have some issues. And I've already sorted out what the issues are. So I've sorted that out a while ago, but we'll take a look at them. This one says turns on, disk does not turn. Well, we already know what that is. A spindle motor. This one came out of an eBay lot. I believe I got a slim PlayStation 1 as well. I think there was a broken Super Nintendo in that lot, and Sega Genesis maybe. I don't remember exactly what all came in that lot. But as you can see, I've already removed the laser assembly because I was just going to replace the whole thing. They're not super expensive. I mean, are they really worth fixing? Slimlines, really no. They're not that sought after. And a lot of people don't particularly care for the slimline, but yeah, so I know that it works outside of that. We'll just plug it in and I'll show you that. It's kind of hard to do with the camera in my face, but we'll go ahead and plug it in and it'll turn on and everything just fine. If I had games loaded up on a USB, I should have came prepared for that, but if I had games loaded up on a USB drive, we could have just tested this out with McBoot to see what exactly is going on, or you know, if it'll work okay with that. But it should work fine with McBoot, so we're gonna use McBoot just to test it. Actually, I didn't check the date on this one. And again, we got a dead backup battery. (5A). The date code is 5A on this one. If I remember correctly, anything up to 8C should be able to use McBoot. So I probably just need to clean the memory card port out. So we'll just rape the port with this McBoot memory card a couple times to clean it out. I know I just violated my PlayStation, but that's okay. I don't think it minds because it hasn't been used probably in years either. There we go. Okay, yeah. See, McBoot works just fine. these ports probably need cleaned out really badly. But yeah, McBoot works fine in here. So if I had a USB stick with games on it, which I might actually break and do that real quick, because I know I've got a memory stick around here that I don't care about. I could slap some games on. Um, yeah, I mean, it should work fine. So, what I'm gonna do for the rest of these, so that then we could test these big ones, I'm not too worried about. I actually got hard drive boot on this one here and this one here. These two both have hard drives in them. Or, I mean, you're not looking at them, are you? Yeah, these first two fats have hard drives in them. And they both have hard drive boot on them. I believe this one, though, for some reason, it's got hard drive boot and it's got all the games on it. But hard drive boot doesn't seem to want to work with it properly. So I still have to use the McBoot memory card with it. But after that, I can load into the games off the hard drive just fine, and it works. So, but I'm more interested in finding out about the optical drives and seeing if the optical drives are actually still functioning properly in these. So that's what this is more about. So maybe after I'm done going through all of these, we test them all out and see which ones still work properly. We'll come back and we'll slap some files on a USB stick. We'll slap a couple games on there, and we'll test them out. Now, for a record, for anybody who hasn't really used McBoot or know too much about it, you cannot put ps1 ISOs on USB stick and play them off a USB stick. It only works with PS2 games as far as I'm aware. There is some sideways ass backwards way of making it work with PS1 games, but you have to do a lot more stuff. And to be honest, I just wasn't that interested in doing it. I'd rather just slap a mod chip in it and call it a day, because you solder it in and that's it. You forget about it. You don't ever have to worry about going through any kind of software nonsense to do anything again, if it decides to not work. So this one does work with McBoot. So in theory, I don't even really have to fix the drive, because I could run pretty much anything I wanted off of a USB stick. So we'll set this one aside now. We got the two working ones stacked over here, and we'll stack this one over there. So we'll go back down to the table. And then we'll do a little look over this one. This one is pretty well beat up. I don't know what happened to this one. It was like that when I got it. As you can see, it says on the back, reconditioned. I know it's upside down, but there you go. Reconditioned. I don't know where this was reconditioned, because this is not a Sony sticker. Sony, I don't think uses... I'm pretty sure Sony doesn't use anything like this when they recondition their systems, and usually they say refurbished, not reconditioned. And actually, as a matter of fact, they just put a new warranty sticker on the back if Sony refurbished it themselves. So this was done by some kind of repair shop of some sort, and it's pretty obvious this was in some kind of shop because of the sticker. This sticker wouldn't be on here either. So let's look at the bottom here, and this one's another 4D, so McBoot would work just fine with this one. McBoot does not... Well, let me rephrase what I'm about to say before I say it. So if you got a 90,000 model, like 90012 or whatever, if you got one of those, McBoot will work with it, but only if the date code down here in this little square is below is 8C or below. So if the 8, if I remember correctly, don't quote me, you can look this up online, but the 8 stands for 2008, and this letter stands for the quarter that it was manufactured in. So this would be 2004, and the D stands for the fourth quarter of 2004. So this was manufactured in late 2004. And we might even be able to find evidence on there here that supports that. Like the actual date of manufacture might be on here somewhere sometimes. I don't know if they do that on PS2s, but they did that on PS1s. It would say like November, 96 or whatever, It would tell you a roundabout date of when it was manufactured. But this one doesn't appear to have any such thing on the sticker anywhere, so I guess that's all you have to go by. But yeah, that stands for 2004, and the D stands for the fourth quarter. So, again, we got the spindle motor removed out of this one. Now, I don't know if I removed the spindle motor to test this eye. I know both of them actually, one actually said that it just had a laser problem on the description when I bought it. But I actually looked at them and they both had laser problems. There was like obvious burning on the top section here of the laser. It's going to be hard to see. I don't know if this one has, this one should have it. Actually, no, this one doesn't have it. So, okay, maybe I was wrong, but I know the lasers both did not work. So, this laser's most likely dead. I'm going to save it in here just to test it when I get a new assembly. I'm going to take the new spindle hub out and put it inside of here and make sure that this laser's dead before I replace the whole thing. I know that's a waste of time and very time consuming for no reason, but I want to see if this eye is any good, because if this eye is any good, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it up in case I need it in the future. So I'll just, at that point, I would just take the whole assembly out, put together the new assembly to the way it was when I got it, and stick that in here. So, again, this one should work just fine with McBoot because of its manufacture date. So, I mean, 2004 fourth quarter is well before the time whenever the firmware was updated in such a way that that exploit no longer worked. And it took it first time. I didn't have to clean the socket out or anything. Look at that. That's actually pretty amazing. But again, as you can see, we have another dead battery. Not a big deal, as I said. You're not probably going to care about keeping the date or time on this thing anyway. Unless, of course, you're playing maybe a game that requires the date and time to be correct. Because I forget what games. I don't know if there was any games on the PS2 that actually relied on that, though. I know on Sega Dreamcast, like, for instance, there was Seaman, and Seaman required the date and time to be correct. If you could set it ahead, but if you set it ahead too far, then it would bitch at you and tell you, oh, well, the date and time don't match up. And if you set it, say the date was prior to the date of your save file, then it would tell you that the file is incorrect or something, and you would have to basically start over or set the date to match what you have stored on your memory card. But I don't think any PS2 games did that, but don't quote me on that. Maybe you could look that up and do some research on that yourself. But as you can see, the McBoot menu works fine. I have no way of testing to see if this reads optical discs. That's why I just went with using the McBoot memory card that I have here, because I just wanted to see, since these ones I know don't have optical drives in them really anymore, or half of an optical drive in one and not one at all in the other, I wanted to see if they were all McBootable, which by the date code, they're all McBootable. The newest one I have was made in the first quarter of 2005, and all the rest are 4D. So they were all made in the fourth quarter of 2004. So now this one here, as you can see, I've already got the hard drive set up on it. Now this is not an actual, as you can see, this is not an actual network card. You could buy these on Amazon for like 13 bucks or something like that. But on the other side of this, inside of here, it has SATA connectors to hook up a SATA hard drive to this. So I will mention though that let me pull out a couple things here. If you're gonna do McBoot, okay, I have a hard drive similar to this in there. Now, this is a low profile kind of hard drive. It's a slim desktop hard drive. It won't fit in there properly. You'll have to stuff something on top of it so then it doesn't rattle around or possibly bust your SATA connections in there. Or I would highly recommend, because they're cheap nowadays, if you're going to do this to your console, just buy one that's the proper thickness, like this one. This one's a backup drive that I still have stuff stored on, so I'm not clearing it to use it with the PlayStation, because there's a lot of stuff on there and I don't feel like going through all of it right now. So it's kind of more or less just laying there in case I need any of them files at some point. I could go back, check it, see what's on there, take what I need, and then call it a day. But also, I kind of don't need that either, because if you look inside of my computer, I have 4 hard drives in there. But I just don't know. I'm one of them people that I save my data and I just leave it like that. Because you never know when something's going to fail, and I'm going to need to fetch files off of that old hard drive that's sitting in there. So enough rambling out of me about that. Let's get this on the table and test out the optical drive. We're not too worried about the McBoot. We know it's got McBoot on it. We've already established that so far. This one's my more or less what I call my personal one. This is the one I actually play on when I play ps2. Whoops. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, I need to grease this drive. Oh, and I've actually got Harry Potter in there. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Something's not right here. McBoot's not popping up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grease this drive. It's sat around and I think the grease dried up. Well, we got a little issue here. McBoot's not popping up. And I know I got hard drive boot on here, so we're gonna have to take a look at that and see why that's not working. But alright, like I said, the point of this is more or less to test the optical drives and see if they're still reading discs. So I know this one read DVDs because I was watching Harry Potter off of it at some point, obviously. So I think with that being said, we could just skip straight over to trying Tony Hawk in it and seeing if that works. Now, I remember back in the 2000s when these first came out, I don't know how many of these I've had to take back to the store, get replaced because the drives failed in them quickly. But that was literally the launch model ones. I believe they were model 30,001, 30001. I believe it was a model. I think I got one of those in this collection somewhere actually too. But this one here I know is a 39,000. The stickers being kind of covered by my little whatever you want to call it, fake network adapter. Okay, well, I can confidently say this reads both CDs and DVDs. Because PlayStation 1 games obviously are all CD based, and most of PS2 games are DVD based, but there were those cases where they were CD based, and you could tell because they'll have a blue back instead of a silver one. So that's how you would tell. Now, I'm not sure what's up with the McBoot on this, but it's acting kind of funny. So, when we go to do all the testing with McBoot later, we'll see what's up with that. I probably just gotta disconnect this hard drive and probably just realign it. It's probably something stupid like that. The connection's probably just not all there because it has been kind of not really tossed around, but it's been around, and it's kind of been sat here and there, and probably got bumped a few times. So it probably just rattled loose. This one should have hard drive boot on it as well. This one though, I already know that this one kind of doesn't like hard drive boot too well. Not sure why. I can't see the model. That's right. That thing's going to be obscured. So we're going to take Harry Potter out of this, and we're going to try our SmackDown game. Okay, and it's skipping the hard drive boot thing, so yeah, again, I'll probably have to do the same thing. Well, that was weird. I think this one just shit the bed on me. Huh. It booted up and then it just like stopped. It's still, the power's still on though. So there are signs of life out of it, but as you can see, it's just, yeah, the cables are in there just fine. Just double check that for clarity. But yeah, you can see the power's still on, but nothing out of the TV. That's interesting. Let's just try resetting it. Oh, okay, well that's a failure. Well, I've never had one fail on me just randomly that I knew worked, and I never had one just fail on me on camera either, so okay, well now it's fine again. Maybe it didn't like having the drive open. I think it's trying to boot from hard drive boot, maybe. That might be what the issue is. This one we might have to break out a screwdriver for. So, again, we'll just come back to this one when we do the make boot mess around stuff later. That's interesting though. I think it has to do a hard drive boot though. Now this one is a 35,001 that I've got sitting in front of me right now. This one's a 35,001 model, and this one looks to be in pretty decent shape. I mean, it's got the normal wear and tear scratches and stuff, but it appears to be in pretty good shape. This one actually was never taken apart, which is unusual. I usually take them apart at some point to clean them or something. I thought I took them all apart to clean them at one point, but apparently I didn't take this one apart. Maybe this one just worked so well that I didn't feel it necessary to take it apart. I really don't know. I don't remember. That's why we're testing them now. I mean, I only got 8 of them. It's hard to remember that. But the backup battery apparently works just fine in this. And this one's much older than them Slims, so that kind of goes to show you how crappy them backup batteries in the Slims are. But as we all know, the Slim models are the crap of the bunch anyway. You don't want them. If you want a PS2, you want a fat, because you could do a lot more with it. Especially considering you could put a hard drive in it and just boot your games off that, instead of carrying around a memory card and a flash drive. You know, you could just have them right on the system. You don't even need a memory card. Now, if you want to save, you'll need a memory card, but you know, you don't need a memory card for any of that stuff. So that's a really good thing, in my opinion. That's why I like the fats better. Oh no. The little plastic cover came off of the door. I'm gonna have to do the little tap tap trick to get this drive to open. I gotta burp this motherfucker. Come on, burp it up. I forget how the trick worked on these. I think on PlayStation it used to be you tap, and on the original Xbox when the drives wouldn't open, you would like press down on the right side, and for some reason it would release the drive, but this one here doesn't want to open at all. This one's not liking, this one's saying fuck you, it don't want to be tested. This one wants to give me a hard time. Let's try vertical. Yep, it opened finally, but I'm gonna have to glue that front plate back on because kind of busted the plastic just a tad bit. I hate that. I really don't like having PS2s without the front plate that has that PlayStation logo on it. I hate that. It bothers me for some reason. Let's see if it reads DVD based games. We've got SmackDown in there once again. I don't think this one reads discs. It's taken an awful long time. It should have loaded by now. Yeah, I'm hearing that kind of that sound that I don't like hearing. It's not a clicking, it's more like a hissing. But I don't like that sound. That either means one of two things. The spindle motor's starting to go bad in this, or the laser's gone bad, which I'm more or less banking on the laser because it feels like it's spinning just fine. Okay, well, we got a disc read error out of that. Let's try a CD based game. I have a feeling this ain't gonna work much better, because usually if it don't read DVD based games, it don't read CD based games either. Oh, well, it reads CD based games just fine, it looks like. Let's actually test that to make sure. Okay, well, it seems to like CD based games, but not DVD based games. So the DVD side of the lasers failed. Maybe we'll cut back one of these days and revisit these. And what I'll end up doing maybe is I'll try tweaking the potentiometer and seeing if that helps. Because sometimes you could do something simple like that and it'll help. At least get a little bit more life out of it. I really don't recommend it. Because one, on a ps2, especially a fat, it's a pain in the ass to do. But the other reason is, too, if you have to tweak the potentiometer for it to work, then chances are you're just going to have to eventually tweak it more and more and more until it finally completely fails and just doesn't do anything anymore. So, yeah, it reads CD-based games just fine, apparently. A little disappointing, the DVD portion doesn't work. Let's actually try a DVD movie. Let's just give it something a little bit less scratched up. So, I mean, this game's not scratched to the point to where it shouldn't read it, but... Oh, I'm not liking that. There's circular scratches on this. I don't think those were there till I stuck it in this machine. That might be the problem. It might be scraping the disc and it's slowing it down so it can't read it. That's probably what the problem is. Yeah, disc read error. And no, it didn't put any circular scratches on this one, so maybe those were there. Maybe that came from one of the other machines. But yeah, this one here does not like DVD games, so this one's going to need an optical drive repair. So we'll set that one aside. And now we'll get on to the final one. This is going to be an hour-long video of nothing but just testing PlayStations, it looks like, because we're already at 46 minutes. So, this one here looks like it's been through something. I don't know. That's not coming off. And this one has been taken apart. You can see I sliced it with a razor. That's how I typically open them. You hear that grinding? That's not a good sign. I don't think it knows the position that the laser's in. And, well, we got one that's actually got a good backup battery in it. I'm thoroughly impressed with these fats and how those backup batteries last so long. So, here we go with DVD based. Let's see what this does. Oh yeah, it's making that clicking noise again. It's not even trying to read the disc. Now it's trying. Yeah, this ain't gonna be reading anything, I don't think. That clicking noise is a very bad sign. Yeah, just as I suspected. Discrete error. No, I didn't tell you to close yet. Yeah, this drive is more than likely failed. This one will be most likely a McBoot machine. I may fix it sometime in the future if I could source parts for it, but this one must be a 30,000 model, because those are notorious for this kind of failure. Yeah, it's not reading CDs either. Okay, well, that just gave me everything I need to know about this one. This one's optical drive has completely shit the bed. It's left the building and is not returning. And this one's a 35,001. So this one's the middle of the road model. This one was like, I believe, the second model they released in the US at least. And then there was the 39,001. So there was 30,001. I believe there was a 31,001 or something like that. I don't know. You could look up the models yourself if you'd like to figure all that out. I can't particularly remember offhand, but this one here is most likely going to be a McBoot machine, because taking these drives apart is fun. I actually do have an extra drive laying around somewhere over here, but I don't know if it works. So this one came out of one that I mod chipped, and something went horribly wrong. Not with the mod chip or anything, but the console just, I think it was dying to begin with, and well, it had a happy little accident. While I was working on it, I knocked it off the table and fucked up the metal shieldings on it and all kinds of crap. So it kind of became a beater system at that point, and I just decided, instead of trying to work on it anymore, because I was already a little annoyed at how long it took me to get that chip in there, I just said, fuck it, I'll take out the drive, and maybe that'll be something I'll do later today. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take this apart and swap this drive into there and see if this drive works. So we're gonna go ahead with, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here real quick, switch back over to my computer, and I'm gonna load up some games onto flash drive so we could try the McBoot on all of these and see how they handle the McBoot. Now this is becoming a very long video. I'll try and cut it down as best I can, but I don't know if I'm going to do much in the way of editing, because I kind of like showing you the full experience of actually going through these, checking them out, and troubleshooting them. We already know that this drive in this one is pretty much toast, so like I said, fortunately I've got a backup drive, but I don't know if that one works either. That one might be just as bad off as the one that's in here. And it's also missing its front plate too, as you can see, so we'll see if it works though. That'll be something we'll try later, I think, because I'm gonna have some time today. So, and fortunately it's not too hard to get into the PlayStation to change the drives, although it is a little bit tedious and a pain in the ass because of how short these wires are. But it's not too bad. I have this wire on the PlayStation board itself for that busted up one. Maybe one of these days we'll actually install the mod chip from the other one into one of these, but I want to make sure it's going to be one that's going to last before I do that because it's a lot of work and it's a pain in the ass. I mean, there's over, I believe there's 20 solder points you have to solder to to put the mod chip in. So yeah, if it's something that's, if there's any sign that the drive's going to fail at any point, I don't want to waste my time, because, I mean, the whole point of the chip is to run backups. So, I'll be back with some stuff loaded up on a flash drive, and yeah, we'll check it out then. Okay, so now we're back. I've fixed up a USB drive here with some games. Couple games here. There's only 2 on here, so we're gonna run them off the USB and go through how to do that. So let's go ahead and power it on. We'll go into McBoot here and just use open ps2 loader. Yes, I know there's no hard drive, but so to set this up, you actually need to go into another menu and format your USB stick or whatever you're using to FAT32, and on there it'll create a couple folders after it formats it, and you want to put your games in the DVD folder. So just a little side note thing. I'm not going to go over that. Maybe one of these times I'll cover setting up a USB stick with McBoot and some games, but we'll just go ahead and show this working here. I also need to change something because I really don't like that. It's a little annoying, but you'll see. Whenever it loads a game, it does that, the little color test thing, and I don't like seeing that, so I'm just going to remove that. There is a setting somewhere to change that, but I have to go through and find it. We'll go through and do that here in a minute. But yeah, it's running it just fine. I got lucky. All the ps2 Slims that I have are fully capable of using McBoot, so I don't have any that are outside of the date range to use McBoot. There may be new versions of McBoot that work with newer ps2 models, but somehow I doubt that, because I think they actually removed the functionality to boot from memory card, which is supposed to be for updating like firmware and stuff. That's how this exploit works. But yeah, it seems to work just fine. To be honest, I think it's a little bit slower than running it off of a DVD or running the game off of disk. To be honest, if you run it off USB, that may also depend on your USB stick. I'm not so sure, but I'm not sure what generation USB these run off of. It's probably like 1.0 or 1.1. I don't even think USB 2 was a thing then. Even if it was, I don't think the hardware was capable of supporting it anyway. So this game's just laggy by nature. We'll see if it causes any issues with loading or anything. We'll try like driving around really quickly and see if it has any kind of loading issues or anything due to it loading off a USB, but so far so good. It looks like it's loaded most of it into memory already, so I don't see any real issues with it. I've never ran them off of USB. I've always ran my games off hard drive boot on a FAT. So this is the first time I've actually tried it. And it seems to work pretty good. So, I mean, if you're okay with slightly slower load times, then this would work just fine. But in my experience, I like the hard drive boot because it's pretty quick. It reads stuff off the hard drive really fast. Um, let's take care of Vincenzo here because I don't like him. So we're gonna take care of him real quick. Let's go ahead and get up a little bit of speed here. I don't have enough speed. That's okay, we'll take care of him another way. And voila. Sayonara, Vincenzo. He should drown. I don't know if the car's gonna make it. No, it didn't. Well, what a bummer. I was hoping Vincenzo would go sleep with the fishes a little bit. It's okay. He's got plenty of friends down there in the bottom of the ocean. And there's a BF injection over there. Nice. We're just gonna push him off into the river. Wow, this is harder than I thought. Alright, so we'll just get him close to the river and then we'll push him in. And try not to push ourselves in too. There we go. Alright, well, that little test is done and over with. We don't need to mess with this anymore. So, we know McBoot works fine with this. And loading off a USB stick works just fine, so, oops. So that's good. Now let's take a look at these PlayStation 2 FATs here. And then we'll see what's going on with these hard drives here. I think it's this one. Get this Xbox the fuck out of here. Alright, so what I'm thinking is the problem here is this hard drive is just not making good enough contact. So what we're going to do is unscrew this fake little network adapter. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. It's not making contact at all, as a matter of fact. Okay, so The only reason I have the bubble wrap is to prevent the hard drive from rattling around in there. Because like I mentioned earlier, I'm not using the typical hard drive that would normally fit inside of here, which is a standard hard drive with the normal thickness and all that. This is a slim or low profile hard drive, whatever you want to call it. So it just doesn't fit in there properly. So you will come across these issues every now and then where you will have to readjust it, or stick something in there to hold it in place. But once you get all that worked out, it's just fine. This has been kind of tossed around a little bit, so it's not surprising to me that it came loose over time. And it's still not connected for some reason. Or is it? Hold on. Yeah, okay. It's working fine now. Hard drive boot is picking up. It does that little load first. I forgot. When you're not using a memory card, it actually does it like that. So now we could go into open loader here. And there we go. We got all the games that are on this drive right here. So now it's all working just fine. Now with this setup, it actually loads a little bit faster using the hard drive. Like, things are pretty quick. You'll see how fast it actually loads. Like, compared to using a disk, that's a lot faster than a disk. The disk would probably only be a little bit past the halfway point by now.
I know a place for the Yankees red light district where we can lay low, but my hands are all messed up. So you better drive, brother.
Damn, I keep forgetting how many damn radio stations there are. I just ran over a hoe. That telephone pole kind of just saved me there.
This is the place right here. Let's get off the street and find a change of clothes. go back so I can probably get you some work. Come on, let's head over.
Get out of my way, piggy. That was your fault. Your dumbass shouldn't have stopped. Get the fucking hell out of my way. I'm gonna ram you. Get out your car so I can run you over. Take your oinker ass back to the station, eat some donuts. Good, he did exactly as I said. He went back to the station to go eat some donuts. Yeah, she's moored meat. She is now my home slice of beef.
Alright, that's enough of him. I did this guy a green card. This is Chatterbox. We're talking about short guys, nannies, taxes, and anything sane you'd like to bring to the party. Hello, you are on Chatterbox.
Let's go around the back and use the transport.
Okay, thanks for calling. Now that we've lost 98% of our audience, we'll more the other 2% to the commercial. When we come back, we'll have a special studio guest. Special because he advertises on this radio station.
Hi, I'm Misty.
Radio stations in town. We'll be right back after this message.
You sound like you could use some Flonase, girl.
The difference between achieving your dream is
Hey, I just want to know that peace ride.
more Americans are realizing we don't have the latest and greatest tech.
Oh, I'm gonna spank your bitch up. I'm gonna spank her up good, too.
I only spent $20,000
Don't expect her to be coming home tonight.
shower or surf the internet while I'm driving. I'm listening to what's stupid at my daughter's recitals and my son's Little League games. Thanks to House of Tomorrow, I can play wireless head-to-head 3D virtual reality polka literally anywhere.
If it's a flash in the pan technology is absolutely no use to anyone, you can find it at House of Tomorrow. Remember, only technology makes life worth living.
She likes it rough.
House of Tomorrow will upgrade your system, then you can upgrade your life.
And now it is my great pleasure to welcome Fernando Martinez, who it says here is the founder of Fernando.
Are you gonna get up? I shouldn't get no copyright strikes for this channel. It's okay, it don't matter because you know what?
I think so.
I gotta go get the stupid car resprayed anyway. I forgot how terrible the controls were in this game. smacked his bitch up pretty good there. There, then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, well, point made. We fixed the issue, so that's enough of me messing around with that and wasting my time. So let's check this other one out. Probably pretty much the same issue. No, this one's still connected. Okay, so we'll have to figure it out. We'll have to see if this is gonna work or if I'm gonna have to use McBoot to get it to work. I'm not sure why this one decided not to work. It did at one point and then it just said, nope, I don't want to work anymore. So I started having to use the memory card. As I said, it shouldn't be the issue because it still read the games off of there, but we might try this hard drive in another ps2 because it seems like it wants to work, but it's not working. So that's where the issue is lying with this one. Because it's doing what it should do to load into McBoot. It should be loading into McBoot right here. And it's kind of just like freezing on this screen. Let's try that. Let's pull down another one off the shelf. The non-existent shelf that is my desk. Well, let's see what happens when we do this PS2. It works fine. Okay. So maybe it just has something to do with this PS2 down here. I'm not sure what it would have to do with that, but... Well, there we go. It works. So... we've solved those problems, apparently. Well, so now we've got two of them that have McBoot on them, and they work pretty flawlessly. So, what the hell is wrong with the rubber foot on the bottom of this one? It was on there all sideways. Alright, well, so in conclusion, we found that one of these has a failed drive, which we'll probably be revisiting soon. I'll probably tear this one apart here and change the drive and see if that helps. We got two slims that don't work, two slims that do work. I mean, technically these work. You could do McBoot off of these without the drive installed in there and it would work just fine. Like, we could plug this one up, put McBoot on it, and even though there's no, you know, half of a laser assembly in here, we could just, you know, run McBoot off of it and run it off of a flash drive, and it would be just fine. I mean, it wouldn't be the fastest way of doing things. That's why I prefer the FATs, because you could stick a hard drive in them and the load time's quicker, but, you know, it still loads the stuff pretty much the same. Once it loads pretty much everything it needs in memory, it only has to load off that stick here and there, depending on the game. With GTA, it loads a lot of whatever it can in memory. So, a lot of it is just checking, you know, retrieving data when it's going into like missions and stuff. So if you're playing GTA or something off it, it would be just fine. Can't really say for sure about San Andreas because that one's a much bigger game, but it should be fine off of there too. And I've also taken one of these apart and ran it completely open with no fan or anything, and I ran it, you know, just on the table for about 2 or 3 hours with just the metal shielding on it, and it didn't overheat. It really didn't feel any hotter than it does when the system runs for 2 or 3 hours with the fan in it and inside the case. So I mean, that's something you could do too if you really wanted to waste your time taking one of these apart just to set it on your table with all the circuitry out. You could do that too. I don't recommend it. There's some reasons why it wouldn't be safe, especially considering the power supply, which sits down on the bottom. So I think what we'll do is we'll cut it here, because this has gone on over an hour and a half between the two video segments, and then maybe we'll come back here in the future and take this drive and put it in this PlayStation 2 and see if this drive reads discs, because I don't remember if this one read discs or not. I think it did, but it might only read DVDs or CDs. I can't really say. This one's not reading either, so, you know, that would be a step up from what I got in there. But yeah, I think that'll end it for today. I hope you like this little experiment of testing these systems that I had laying around because, you know, I've got 8 of them. Why I've got 8 of them, I really don't know. I mean, I go to little, or, you know, I buy stuff on eBay, you know, in lots, broken systems, untested systems, whatever. And then I'll fix them and then I'll just put them away half the time. Sometimes I sell a couple of them, most of the time I just put them up. So, we'll probably come back and, like I said, we'll take a look at this one back here and see if we could fix it. Um, if not, that's not a big deal because you know what? Really, you don't need the drive anyway because I could just order another one of these adapters and get McBoot put on a hard drive and just stick it in there and it'll be fine. You won't even need the drive. So that does it for me. So maybe we'll, like I said, we'll take a look at this, or maybe we'll take a look at one of these Nintendos over here. I know 2 of them work. I think that yellow one on the top doesn't work. And I think it's the lockout chip. So that's a pretty easy fix. Maybe we'll go in there and we'll pull that pin off the lockout chip and get that one working. But yeah, we'll take a look at some stuff. I got a couple other things laying around here that we could look at. Really nothing that doesn't work though that I'm aware of. The ps2s were the thing I didn't really know if they worked because these things are notorious for failures. So this one here, what the hell happened to it? Is this the one I just put the drive in? No, this is the one I just put the drive in. Alright, but yeah, that'll do it. So thanks for watching.